Welcome to Africa. There's no other place on the planet quite like it. Last week we kicked off our scenic Victoria Falls and East Africa adventure in Zimbabwe, soaking in the majesty of the falls and the might of the Zambezi. This week it's Kenya's turn to wow us with the legendary Masai Mara, the beauty of Lake Nakuru and a glorious baby elephant encounter. The Masai Mara is a massive hunk of lush but lashed landscape, grilled by the equator and hammered by the hooves of over 2 million zebra, gazelle and wildebeest during what's known as the Great Migration. It's a peak hour style manic mangle of mammals stampeding its way past some of the animal kingdom's most primed and precise killers like the lion, the leopard and the cheetah. It's the quick or the dead out here. With its breathtaking vistas, endless plains and plentiful wildlife, the Masai Mara National Reserve is the ultimate African cliché brought to life. And that, way off there to the left, that's wildebeest.
That's wildebeest.
That's a herd of wildebeest.
That's a herd of wildebeest.
There must be thousands there. The Great Migration, traditionally July to October, is when around 2 million wildebeest cross the Great Mara River from the Serengeti in Tanzania into Kenya, and is the best time for viewing hordes of zebra and wildebeest.
This is where all the wildebeest cross. This is just one of the crossing points. There's just about 7 or so different crossing points.
So that's obviously why the crocodile on the riverbank there, vultures in the trees, they're just waiting for the migration to come.
They're waiting for the migration to come, and also for the dead bodies that will get washed down as they cross upstream.
But any time of year, this is home to all of the big five and the draw card predators. Oh yeah, cheetah, 2. No, 3 I can see.
Yeah, there are actually 5. This is a coalition of 5 males that we like to call the first 5.
So they don't usually sort of gather in a bunch like that?
No, usually they're found solitary or one with a sibling or a mother and cubs. These are 5 males that have come together, teamed up to form a stronger coalition for better and successful hunting.
Right, so they know how to organise themselves for a kill, do they?
They do. They actually have a leader.
They're amazingly camouflaged, aren't they? You can only just pick them up. The most thrilling part of an African safari is that you never know what encounters you may experience. King of the jungle and his lady friend?
Yes, this is a mating pair, which we locally call honeymooners.
Honeymooners.
So during this time, they mate at least on average, every 15 minutes.
Every 15 minutes? No wonder they're plumb tuckered out. Oh, here he goes.
So the mating takes place during the 5 days that she's on estrus.
Right.
And in those 5 days, every 15 or so minutes, they have to mate. And this ensures that the female
has every chance of getting pregnant.
Every chance of getting pregnant,
but
yes.
He's done. Now he's proud of himself. Oh, look at him. Yeah. He's done his work. King of the jungle once more. Well done, son. Perfectly positioned to make the most of your Mara experience is the Sarova Mara Game Camp, located in the heart of the nature reserve.
We have sugarcane, we have coffee tree, we have mango tree.
Set in the grounds of Sarova's flourishing herb and veggie garden, an African cooking class is also on the Scenic menu as a free choice option.
So today we are going to make ugali.
Ugali?
Yeah, ugali, it's African corn.
It's African corn?
Yeah.
Does everyone know how to cook ugali?
Yes.
Why?
Especially the ladies.
Why?
Because if you can't cook nice ugali, your husband will chase you out.
He'll chase you out?
Yeah.
If you can't cook ugali?
Yeah, if you are not qualified for making ugali,
God.
you can't get married.
Really? How do you know when it's ready?
When your ugali is ready, you take a small portion, you throw it on the wall. But here, because we don't have the wall, we use the tree. Just throw it on the tree.
Ah.
Yes, it's ready. Yeah.
What's the wall at home look like? With the staple dish made, head chef Gilbert, Damaris and I whip up a chicken curry concoction and a little of the local kale known here as sukumawiki. Voila, lunch fit for an African king. And keeping with tradition, it's strictly hands only. Beautiful.
I told you.
Great combination.
Yeah, it's nice.
Tad messy for me, but... The Masai Mara is undeniably one of the greatest wildlife viewing areas on Earth. For us, it's the midway point of our Victoria Falls and East African adventure with Scenic, but for these guests, this scenic and rich bush breakfast is the grand finale of their epic journey, one final chance to soak up this sensational landscape.
To come here and the closeness of all of those animals was just amazing.
But while the wildlife is what's put the Mara on the map, these lands are also home to one of the most extraordinary tribes on Earth. You've probably seen footage of the Masai, coloured beads, close-cropped hair, the brightest of clothing and the most enviable of bone structure. But beneath the striking athletic exterior lurks a fearsome reputation. Renowned as ferocious warriors and cattle rustlers, the Masai not only prefer their meat raw, they like to wash it down with pure cow's blood. As you digest that, consider this. Although circumcision is practiced in many cultures, the Masai prefer to perform it without anaesthetic. I approach these guys hesitantly. The physical stereotype is true to reputation, the bright red colour used to scare off predators and to find other Masai in the bush. Is that wildebeest?
No, this is kudu,
Kudu.
which is our traditional mobile phone for communication.
And while they still look fierce, they're also mighty friendly. This dance, performed today, is to welcome me to their village, but traditionally used for other, more vital purposes. So what's the idea with the jumping dance?
That's for you to be popular in the area too, and also for you to have many girlfriends.
Right, so is it the guy that jumps the highest gets the most girlfriends?
Absolutely, and also it depends how we, with the necks, not only jumping.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
The presentation as well.
Yeah, the presentations as well too.
This simple nomadic lifestyle has changed very little over the centuries and is a fascinating contrast to Western society. How many wives do you have?
One at the moment. Yeah.
How many do you plan to have?
3 to 4.
Really?
Yeah.
3 to 4?
Yeah, and actually it depends on the number of the cows because we normally pay dowry. We normally give in 10 cows for one bride. So we'll say more cows, more wives because of the dowry. This is my house.
Yeah.
And actually, my wife and my mom made it.
Right.
It's a great, very nice house.
Your wife and your mum made it?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Actually, I make the fence.
Right.
Welcome and please watch your head.
Okay.
And it's a bit dark, but if you stay for a minute, your eyes they get customs.
It's very dark.
Yeah, actually, the houses they are quite dark.
Is there a reason for that?
Oh, yeah,
Keep it
because
cool.
we like privacy. This is a bed for me and my wife.
Right.
And actually, this is another bed for our children too.
Okay. Okay.
And you see, like we normally use cow hide as our mattress.
Yeah.
And under the bed, we put some branches to make the bed comfortable.
Right.
So I promise you, next time when you come here, you don't have to go on of the lodge. You come and stay here, free accommodation.
Excellent.
And your breakfast will be milk and blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a nice night's sleep with 6 children.
Absolutely, sure.
Welcome back to our Victoria Falls and East Africa adventure with Scenic. From Kenya's legendary Masai Mara region, we've headed northeast to another of this country's fine national parks, Lake Nakuru. Nakuru is the Masai word for dust. I mean, who has a dusty lake, for goodness sake? But that ain't the only oddity here in the Lake Nakuru National Park. The lake is sometimes pink. The flamingos are a reddish purple because they eat the blue-green algae. Some of the rhinos are white. There's a giraffe called Rothschild, and the lions sleep in the trees. And there are also python and leopard, and I tell you what, if either of those species have been sipping from the same kooky juice as the others, I'm out of here. Nakuru is one of 3 shallow lakes in Africa's Great Rift Valley, home to all of the big 5, as well as the rare white rhino.
These are the white rhinos that were introduced into the park in the early 90s for breeding purposes.
And has that been successful?
It's been very successful.
I mean, we see a number of babies out here now.
Yes.
But you have indigenous rhino here as well, don't you?
We do have indigenous rhino here, which is called the Black Rhino, and it's relatively smaller by about a ton.
Just observing this crash of rhino family group, a couple of young, even though there are some smaller ones there, everything in the African bush seems to be large and hulking and prehistoric and stomping and huge. Is there anything that's delicate in the African bush? Here in Lake Nakuru, you will find your answer. Sure, the big 5 all reside here, but so too do dainty animals of the feathered kind. 500 species of them, in fact, making it a birder's paradise. What we're looking at here is the widow bird, so named because he's predominantly black, and the tail that he's dragging around is his sign of showing that he's ready for mating. Interestingly, he's chasing around the female, who is, well, really rather plain. Then there are those gangly but somehow graceful giraffes. Here in Nakuru, they are predominantly of the rare Rothschild variety, distinguished by their darker coat. What are these 2 doing over here?
Oh, those 2 are males that are tussling, and they're fighting. And this form of fighting is known as necking.
Necking. So this is a territorial kind of joust that they're doing here?
Actually, they have hierarchy issues.
Right,
so
asserting their dominance.
asserting dominance.
And how serious can these fights get?
It can be a fight to death.
Traditionally, Nakuru was known for its flourishing flamingo numbers, but rising water levels in 2014 forced most of them to flee. Fortunately, they're slowly starting to return.
And a phenomena happening here in the Rift Valley lakes is flooding. So in the last 10 years, we've been experiencing a lot of flooding. So this flooding, which is from the underground water system, sort of dilutes the algae content in the lakes.
They eat the algae. In fact, that's what makes them sort of purple, pink.
That's from the spirulina, the protein that is found in the algae. So it's the blue-green algae gives them the pink color.
Yeah, go figure. I remember reading about the most unpredictable killer
Exactly.
in the African jungle.
Yes.
What is that?
That is the Cape buffalo.
That's the Cape buffalo right there.
Those are Cape buffaloes right there.
Okay. Why are they so unpredictable?
It's because they're very smart and very fast thinkers, and they can charge very unpredictably.
Terrific. They don't think twice.
They don't think twice.
Our scenic Victoria Falls and East Africa journey has delivered us to Kenya, where we've explored 2 of its highlight national parks, the Masai Mara and Lake Nakuru. Not far from the national parklands of Lake Nakuru is a sanctuary of the humankind, taking in abandoned babies and helping support desperate young mums.
And all the children live downstairs here.
The stop has become a highlight for scenic guests.
This is the baby's room.
Wow, wow. And you have what, 7, 8 babies in here at any one time?
Yeah, 8 babies. And all of these babies are in the last 6 months.
And they have come from where?
Basically from the side of the road, somewhere.
Yeah.
Where there's Robin, she was found on the side of the road, wasn't she? In the bush. There was another one found in a tree in the bush.
So I suppose all of these have been desperate mums.
Obviously.
So for whatever reason, they just can't cope.
Absolutely.
Mission in Action is currently home to over 80 children, from babies to teens. But the ultimate goal, wherever possible, is to reunite them with their birth family. The centre was started back in 2004 by Australian man Ivan Budalika.
First thing that Ivan does is try to find their mama. And keeps on trying to find the mama. Even with the children that are a little bit older, we're still looking for the mothers.
The centre has slowly grown to include the One Tribe Mama project to support mums in need. What I love about all these is the colour. There's a lot of colour, there's a lot of brightness here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is that part of the One Tribe Mamas thing, to bring brightness into lives?
Most definitely, because most of these ladies have come from a very bad background, abuse and a lot of trauma. And coming here, being empowered and just learning and being able to do something for yourself and be proud of it makes them so happy.
And ultimately to bond with their birth child with the aim of eventually being reunited. Five hours away, these beautiful baby elephants live on the outskirts of Nairobi, in the country's first national park and the only one on the planet to be located on the edge of a capital city. This is the world's most successful orphan elephant rescue and rehabilitation program, founded by Daphne Sheldrick, a Kenyan national treasure and conservation icon. She pretty much wrote the book on understanding elephants and was the first ever to hand rear a baby elephant. Because of her pioneering work, over 250 orphaned elephants in Kenya and countless others around the world have been saved. Infant elephants left orphaned in the wild due to loss of habitat or the poaching of their mothers are incredibly vulnerable, given they rely on mother's milk for the first 2 years of their life. While they sleep and feed in the centre, their days are spent roaming free within the Nairobi National Park. Right. So even though you're raising them, they are still out in the wild to a certain extent?
Yes, okay. we want them to stay as much more natural as possible, so that they can learn what they need to learn by instinct.
And so this one here, one of the larger ones,
yes,
would be, what, 3 years old?
3 years, yes.
So soon to go out to be rehabilitated in the wild?
Yes.
Hello. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Wow, so there's a bed in each pen?
A bed in each pen for those that are below 2 years.
Right, so the keeper sleeps here?
Yes, the keeper sleeps here to take care of the elephant. And feed the elephant on milk every 3 hours or on demand. It's like child at home.
So if they sleep through 3 hours, they're woken up by the elephant?
Yes.
But they're going to
if
tap
you
on
oversleep, the elephants will wake you up.
Really?
They take off the blanket from you.
Do they?